Hello everyone, my name is Allison Diaz and I would be doing my staffing planning final project on indoor water conditioning. A little bit about the company. This is their mission statement. Their headcount is currently at 359 employees with 16 different positions available. They do have 4 different locations: Houston, Dallas, Austin, and San Antonio. The workforce planning. Currently, supply is lower than demand, and that's because of during the summer, a lot of people use more water, and since they do deal with water conditioning, a lot of the equipment that does this needs to be routinely maintenance, and with that, they need technicians, and currently uh, they do have a low labor as at this the job analysis. The position I will be kind of talking to you guys about is the accounts receivable specialist position, which I currently hold. I report to the office manager and currently have no subordinates. This position has to do with payments that come into the company, and it also includes collections, which is where we would call customers who are past due and try to collect that money from them. 45% of the time you are posting payments and making sure they're accurate and on time so that it can reflect current accounts. 35% is resolutions. Like I said, it has to do with a lot of collections. We had to find out ways of how we can get that money for the company. 20% has to do with maintaining and updating accounts, making sure they're accurate and reflect what's correct. Recruitment. I think a great way to recruit is through technical school, sign-on bonuses, and tuition reimbursements. A lot of schools do with, technicians or plumbing and apprenticeship, along with accounting. So this would be a great way to kind of get those entry-level people kind of coming in and making sure they're you have experience beforehand. The office manager and service manager would help kind of create these collaborations, so they would kind of set up job fairs or set up a collaboration with nearby schools. The sources where you can get these jobs would be job portals, fairs, and campus recruitments. This would be like an example of a recruitment message. The current issues with recruitment is a lot of positions require multitasking, so it can cause a lot of demand, for the new people coming in. And because we do have a kind of like a economic distress from customers, a lot of them don't want to pay or can't pay, and that causes a lot of stress for the accounts receivable team. And we have to make sure that there's no fraud risk of the applicants coming in. Compensation. How does the job analysis decide compensation? Well, the job analysis helps us find out how much work the position takes, what qualifications you need, and what the market demand for the position actually is, and we could kind of find a pay range for that. The internal alignment. I think job evaluations will help a lot to ensure that positions are being paid fairly and consistently as new people come in. That's just to ensure that people aren't getting paid unfair. Like you can't have a clerical position being paid more than an office manager position. External competition. I think a lot of issues that have to do with the high turnover rate at the company has to do with poor benefits and poor leadership. So I think we can kind of better those areas. A lot of the turnover rate can go down, and we can have more applicants are attracted to the company. Selection. I have the, how we would kind of deal with the initial and final screenings on how we would pick to fill the positions, obviously. Um, a selection method I think would be good would be to use a compensatory method, which would be where we would rank different categories and they would have different weights to them. And ideally, we would want the applicants to score higher on those higher categories. Interviews, I think, would be good with structured and unstructured interviews, kind of give that professional feeling, but still try to maintain it and keep it somewhat personal with each applicant. The aspects of selection would be budget and compensation structure. Can we afford this? Is there other people who can fill in this position temporarily, or promote that person and fill that gap in? Can they afford to be selected? Or is there, with technology being mainly used now, a lot of people want to do remote work, so they try to look for those opportunities where they can work from home some days, or work full time from home. We have to ensure that when we select our candidates, it's not for not good reasons, like because of their skin color, because their religion. We have to make sure that we're selecting for proper reasons so that we can avoid lawsuits. The onboarding, for the most part, they did meet I would say they met the basics of the 4Cs, but I feel like they can improve in a lot of places. For example, they don't have an HR department, and I think if we were to implement a proper HR department, it would help, kind of help the employees feel safe and help them clarify any questions they do have. Additionally, when I went for the onboarding, I didn't receive any policies, codes of conduct, or procedures when they first hired me until I asked for it, which I think, they should have given it to me, even though I didn't ask for it. The performance management, performance dimensions, post accurately and on time, make sure you're doing collections, update the counts, communicate with people. What's currently being used as a measurement for performance management is, like I said, how accurately are you posting? How on time are you posting? Are you actually collecting? How are you dealing with customer complaints, questions? I think it would be to kind of measure performance management. I think a great thing to do is to use the combination method, which would use the stuff talked about and what is currently and how it's currently being assessed, and then adding managers evaluations to it. Sometimes there's stuff that we can't control, but we're doing a good job, and the managers see that feedback. Annual evaluations, I think, would be a great way to kind of make sure they know what's happening, how they're doing, and you can use this with rankings or weighted performances. The plan to improve performance, just make sure you tell them, this is your position, this is what you have to do, and just make sure you're telling them, and make sure that there's not too much work for them. Sometimes there's work, and that person tries to play it off like they can do it when they can't do it, and it's too much for just one person. And to maintain open-minded conversations, I think a lot of people lack for certain issues, whether it could be for a family member being sick, or they're in financial crisis right now, and just kind of showing them that the company is there for them would kind of make them want to perform better for the company. Career management, The best way to manage careers, I think, would be to implement the career path and ladder framework. It's going to provide structure, clarity, and support for employees, and it will also help the company meet their needs and keep retention in their employment engagement. Retention and turnover, the retention plan, I think, would be to focus on leadership improvement and better benefits. Like this, we can cut off unnecessary resources and reinvest it in training programs, and do proper investigations when there's complaints, and find better benefit alternatives so that people with family can actually get what they need from the insurance. This is my references, and thank you.